day one of a 7-day committal to showing up every day doing Facebook Live. To corral me, I've chosen a topic and a theme, which is what I wish we all knew. So it's going to be, I've got some ideas and we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it follows the path that I assumed that it would, because we actually never know. But it will be great no matter what. I've got lots of juicy stuff to share, and I desire to share it en masse as opposed to just in a one-on-one session, because this is information for everyone. Hi Stace. Hi Alice. Yes, a little bit late. Look, I didn't go to sleep till like 3 in the morning. So I just had to sort of gather myself up this morning. No fun reasons. Just couldn't get to sleep. I think I was just so excited from yesterday. Hi Jazz. I was so excited from yesterday. I had a great day yesterday, locking in this stuff, doing heaps of work stuff. So I think I was just too excited and I didn't go to sleep. So I'm excited to share what I'm going to talk about today, which is there's more to you than what you see. So this is sort of going to be, basic 101 introduction to the other the other parts of you, which is the energy body, and that contains our emotional responses, any sort of the imprints of woundings that we've experienced, our beliefs about who we are and our beliefs about the world, things like that. And the reason for sharing that is because we've sort of like corralled ourselves a little bit too much into really over-analyzing what's going on with the physical, over-analyzing our food, over-analyzing all of these things to try and create this desired feel that we want, or the desired health that we want, or we're scrambling so much outside of ourselves to try and get our own, get the things, get all the things, where really there can be actually a totally different approach, where we actually sort of look within, which is into these unseen parts of ourselves in the energy field, and the change happens from there. And that's where it is I keep using this phrase that no one really understands. No, I don't know. Not no one understands it, but I think it's not very tangible, but it keeps coming to me. So it's an actual thing, and maybe it's my role to share what it means so everyone can start to understand. But it's your authentic energetic truth. So it's because we are just a big ball of energy, really. What is contained in there with our thoughts and our beliefs and our unhealed parts, if there's judgments in there, if there's limiting, constricting beliefs in there, we will still see it in the outside world. So if we start to do this inner realm work, we are energetically changing what we see in our world, because it doesn't become a match anymore. It's like those two magnets, when you have magnets and you turn them one around the wrong way and they can't touch each other anymore. If we up level our own energy field, the shit that we don't want in our lives, it literally doesn't come in anymore. It can't come in anymore. It's an energetic thing. It just can't come in. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have hard times and we don't experience difficulty in our lives or hardship in our lives, but it's a different experience, because we don't feel as victim to our circumstances. We don't feel that we are, just getting fucked by life, really. It's more like, okay, whew, that's a big one, or that really hurts, or that is not what I would have asked for, but it can serve a purpose. When we're cracked apart and all of our pieces are all on the floor, in this way, it's like, all right, well, okay, well, what else am I to do but choose to pick the pieces back up that I want, to pick the pieces back up that I'm going to carry forward, And then the pieces that you leave, that creates space for a more expanded version of you to come in. So, yeah, this is funny because I actually today I was just going to sort of just go very surface level and introduce the concept of the energy body or the energy field. I say energy field a lot, but I think I'm going to switch to energy body because it makes it more personable. It makes it like, okay, well, this is my physical body. Then I've got my energy body, because I'm going to use the beautiful conditioning that we have to look after our physical body, and I'm going to apply that to using the same framework of let's look after our energy body as well. The physical, the energy. I might have mixed my words up there, but it's fine. So, and I was just going to talk about that, but then I was almost going to, that's what I wrote down yesterday, and then I was almost going to swap today, because I realized today, being July 13th, is the 2-year anniversary of me doing my ACL when I was playing soccer. And I thought, oh, maybe, and so, last night in the wee hours of the morning, as it ticked over to July 13, I thought, all of a sudden I just, I was reflecting, and I was like, fuck, that's like one of the best things that's ever happened to me. It shifted my trajectory in such a way that it collapsed timelines of me achieving who I want to be and gaining the knowledge and insights and letting go of all the shit that I don't need. It collapsed timelines. It drew them closer to me at a much more quicker rate than had I not had that injury and then the surgery and many things since then as well. And so I was going to talk about that. I was going to go, actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll talk about the gift of the hard times or the gift of adversity. And so now I've just talked about both. I've talked about, so maybe we'll just go on to that a little bit, because it's about, part of reclaiming your own, this other part of ourselves that we sort of just haven't really so much up until now, is it's an empowering position, because it's like, oh, I have more control here than I even knew I did. Look at us all. We are actually control freaks. We're super control freaks. But what we're trying to control is our outside circumstances, our external circumstances. And that's essentially it's a fruitless task, because we can't control anything outside of ourselves. We can't control, the weather, the environment, other people, all sorts of things, because they've got their own storylines, they've got their own stuff going on. What we can control is what goes on inside. And so what that is we can review our emotional responses to things, because that is like gold information. Whenever we feel we have an emotive response to something, that is I'm obsessed with that, because that's like super clear information of what's ready to be looked at in the energy field. No one teaches us this. No one teaches us. It's all like, it's all like left that it's up to other people to treat us right, or it's up to other people to not let us down or not upset us. It's actually fucking not. It is not up to anybody else at all, really, because everyone's just walking their own path. Everyone has their own journey. Yeah, don't be a dick, but even the people that are dicks, like, I can barely look at anyone now and be mad at them or be angry at them for a much period of time, because it's always like, all right, well, if I'm having this emotive response, there's something in me that this is triggering off, so I'm going to look at that. Because then what happens there, that doesn't mean that they're getting away with anything. They're not getting away with anything. It's more like, well, that behavior, if it's shit behavior, that becomes a non-negotiable for me. That's like, that is not okay with me, and that is not going to be in my life anymore. That's energetic boundaries. So that becomes a non-negotiable. And if someone continues being a dick, then they're not in your life anymore. But the emotional response you have to whatever is going on there. That is your responsibility. That's your reaction. That's not their fault, ultimately. So that is a topic, I'm merging all the topics in here. That's a topic that I put under the heading of how humans relate as well. Well, it's a portion of that topic, because the unseen parts of us, which is the energy body, is, you know, we think that we're communicating with people with our mind. What? No, mouth, mind, eyes, ears. But how we actually pick up cues and clues about people is before all of that is our energy field is picking up their energy field. So that's what introduces you first. So, you know, oh God, this is such a big topic. It's so big. Why am I doing this? How am I going to get out of this? I'm just going to be on for actually 7 days straight. And please feel free to ask questions if you have any questions along the way, and if you're watching the replay. So this is why I'm so passionate about the energy field, because it's where so many of the answers that we're actually seeking lie, or where we can find the answers to the questions that we're seeking. Physical health, because the energy body is like, it's the vibrational blueprint for the physical body. So when we have an emotional trauma or wound or imprint that it sort of like scars the energy field. This is how I see it anyway. Other people will describe it differently. If it sort of scars the energy field and it distorts the vibration, and if that's left there in that state for too long, we get physically unwell. So this is all, you know, that sort of stemming, that insight is stemming, if you want to read some more about that, that insight is stemming from the work of Louise Hay. She did a lot of work in that area of saying, okay, well, we've got this physical body, and when certain diseases or ill health affect different parts of us, it relates to an emotional or thought patterning that we have, a distorted pattern of thinking that we have. So we can sort of like start, that's where I started to get introduced to all of this, is by following Louise Hay's work a bit. You know, she laid the pavers for this path, and that started giving me insight of going, well, that's the influence, you know, because this is the thing, like being a naturopath, that was amazing. That was already enlightening, because it's like, oh my God, the body is a whole, and if one system's out, the other systems are going to be out, or if, you know, the gut's not great, the skin has effects, or if the lungs aren't great, the skin has effects. And so that was revolutionary into itself. And then as the years went on with that, I was like, there's something still overriding this. I can feel that I just, and I said this in a talk I did the other day, it was like, I just did not accept that we have to live like that. I did not accept that if you've got a health pattern and you've tried all the things, sorry, that's just how you are. It's not fucking right. There's a whole nother layer of yourself that you can look at. And that is amazing. So that's where this is the sort of sequential path that I followed to get to these understandings. And it just gets more layered and more complex, aka more influential, the more that I go on. Yes, so Louise and the emotional and thought patterns influencing the body. So that's really tangible stuff. Like you can look that up. You know, read some of Louise Hay's books. It's actually like, for me, that's almost like as factual and tangible as this table that's in front of me here. You know, that's not even a question in my mind now. I've had 11 years of working one-on-one with clients, and it's just been shown time again. So that's, you know, that's a very sort of like easy path. You can follow the clues that your physical body is giving you. They're communications. Once again, just like in other scenarios, life isn't actually fucking with you. Your body is not trying to screw you over. It's trying to talk to you. It's trying to communicate to you. It's trying to get your attention for these. It's like waving a little flag for you to follow that thread and go, okay, well, what's behind this? What in me wants to be known, wants to be seen, so that it can be healed or released or let go or reframed or that sort of thing. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, okay, so that was a bit of a rant. Let me regather myself back. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that is a little bit enlightening for somebody, even just one person. That would be amazing. More than one would be also desirable. Yeah, so this is, you know, this is introducing you to the unseen parts of who you are, because they are the overriding influence. And so, you know, we've got the terms subconscious and unconscious thoughts and things like that, right? It's about making them more seen. It's about making them not run you in a silent fashion that you don't know they're running you. It's about looking at them now. And that's what I do. I think, and I've been told by a couple of different psychic energy readers myself, that I think what happens is I almost am in a session, I almost am in your energy field, and it's like I'm walking through it in a sense, in my mind. Well, not this mind, in my here mind. And I just sort of get let in. If it's time for these parts of you to be seen, it's like we just keep going deeper and deeper into the layers, and we arrive at like a core belief. So you've got your emotional responses. That's one layer of your energy body. And then you've got the layer where your core beliefs live, vibrate. And they're things like, the core beliefs are things like you're not worthy, or, the scarcity mindset, the lack mindset, beliefs around, well, actually all the things, sexuality, other people, like all the things. I can't even like think of a thing. And so this is like, I am often shown that these beliefs are like, so I think first of all, where did they come from? I think that some of them, it's like I've sort of been shown that as you like come through the birth canal, not literally, but this is like just to give an idea, as you come through the birth canal, you sort of have a little bit of a grid work of the blueprint that you pick up from your family line, because not everyone picks up the same stuff. You know, we've got lots of generational trauma and limiting beliefs and all of that. We sort of like, it's like each soul / each kid picks up a different blueprint, because that's what's going to help them through this particular soul journey. And so then I think some are set off when we're little. I think that, you know, sometimes it can be, obviously, like if there's overt trauma, that's like, whew, that like some beliefs are concreted in. But you can also it can be as subtle as something that you heard when you were 2 years old, that just your energy field picked that up. And that formed a little bit of a grid work of a belief about whatever it was about yourself or the world around you. You know, even things like, if as a kid you overheard somebody say, and it didn't even have to be overtly said, but something along the lines of, you know, commenting on someone's body shape or size, right? And let's use fat as an example, because it's a highly charged word and topic. So it's if you overheard someone say that someone and you perceived through your energy field, you perceived that being fat is bad, then that is a core belief that gets formed, and it sits in your framework, in your energy body, and is like, it becomes like a fact. That's what our beliefs are. They become a fact. I've collated this fact, and being fat is bad. That's not the truth. It's actually not the truth. It's just a belief that, and so we go through our lives fucking like collecting these things, and we don't even know that they're there. So when we start to see them, we can undo the framework. We move it on. Sometimes it takes, like, it depends on, each person has like a deeper depth of framework for different beliefs. And so sometimes I see it as, it's like we go around the mountain, right? We go round and round, and you visit the same topic several times, but from a different vantage point around the mountain. And with some of the core belief work, it's like, okay, at the start they were like concrete pillars. Then when we visit them again, they've softened, right? We've taken a layer off. So maybe they're wood pillars next time. And then it's like they become just very frail the next time, and then they can go. So this is why it is a journey. Like, the inner work is a journey, because the deep core beliefs, they take time. They take time to really actually totally remove from the system. I think we're living at a time now where everything is getting fast-tracked. I think we're at like this, the evolution. This is the evolution of humanity, to get this stuff out of our energy fields. That's why the world is in fucking chaos right now, because we hit a point where enough people had done this work that the rest could be pulled into the cycle. That's a mass awakening. And it's not pretty. Because it's not pretty when you're doing it on your own, let alone in a fucking mass awakening. It's chaos, because you're ripping out the very core things. There's survival things. These core beliefs are imprinted and concreted in from a position of survival. Using that example, and I like this example because it's irrational for the reason that I'm about to say it, is I like that the example of sort of the belief that was formed was being fat is bad. So I therefore must avoid that at all costs, right? Which is not the truth, and it's such a difficult thing, because anyway, I won't go into that, but because the word being, there is neutral charge to the word fat. There is actually neutral charge to it. We apply charge to it, whether it be negative or positive. There should actually be, it's just a descriptive word. But that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, so even that, because when these things are formed, it's like, well, I'll be, because if it was overheard that it was a derogatory comment around the word fat and what you overheard when you were little, there gives a belief of, I'll be excluded. I will be excluded, I won't be accepted, blah, blah, blah. So therefore, that's a survival thing, because, we have to be with our people. We have to be wanted to be held in our tribes, in our villages and things like that. That's that's an evolutionary survival thing. So it does take work to undo the survival patterning. But there's a time where, and so when you're undoing, this is why I'm saying this, I forgot why I was saying this for a minute, but this is because this is why it's messy and it's chaotic, because it's like you're having this battle in your survival mind when you're doing this inner work, because it's like, I'm keeping you safe, and it's like, I get it, and I'm super grateful, because I learned a lot about myself and the world around me from that, but I am safe and I don't need you anymore. And so we do the work to let it go. And then we don't view the world from a survival perspective. We start moving into thrive perspective. And that's where we've got to head. Right. So is that understandable? Is it too overwhelming or complicated or rambly or, yeah. If you're live and you have comments, or if you're watching the replay, please insert comments. If you're watching the replay and you have comments, tag me in it, but with your comment, explain what position it is, because I can't match it up to the video. Okay, what else did I have written down? No, I just literally had, there's more to you than what you see. Okay, good note taking. There's more to you than what you see. Okay, so it seems like just the bringing into the awareness the existence of the energy body is part of it. Thanks, Jess. Not at all, love it. Okay, good. You have heard me bang on about this a few times though. And so other topics that I am going to talk about are how we relate to each other. That is a topic unto itself, so I will save that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Thanks, Talia. I didn't catch the start, but I'll come back and watch. Sean, love it. Okay. Thanks, guys. So how humans relate, maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow, because that is, it goes into other parts too, but essentially it's about we relate through our energy fields. And then when we've got woundings sitting in there, which are essentially like raw nerve endings, that's how we actually fucking relate to each other. So it's probably one of my favorite topics that I don't really talk about much on the front line. It's really only situational in one-on-one consults. So I'm actually excited to see how I go with that. Oh God, because when it's situational, it's easy to explain, because it's, you know, I've got an example, you know, there's a person sitting in front of me that has people in their life, and more than likely we've been talking about, an interaction that they've had, so I can make it really tangible. We'll see how I go with not those examples. You know, because that is why I've avoided doing these sorts of videos where I'm talking to a screen and then, you know, I know the people are there, but I work best, you know, my greatest skill set is reading in that very snap second, like reading the energy field, or reading how I can read when someone speaks, I can read the tone in their voice. Or some people have, it's so cute, because some people that don't express that, you know, as I go on in my evolution of understanding humans more and more, I may end up not working out, it's probably a chakra thing or whatever, but some people when they talk to me in a session, like their voice energetically doesn't change at all. Like they could be talking about when they said hi to me, and when they talk about a very emotional time in their life, there's zero change in the energetic of their voice. So for them, they've got different tells. For them, there's some people, this is a common one actually, where there's like a little lip quiver, and that's the tell. That's the tell that we've got something here. You know, other people have tears pouring out of their eyes, and that's a pretty obvious tell. Yeah, so, you know, we're also different and we're so unique, and I think this is why it's the time now that we do have to all go into our own energy fields, because there is no blanket answer for everyone. You know, like when looking at physical health, how many fads have we all visited? I mean, how many fads have we individually tried to adopt into our life, and how many fads have washed over the, you know, a large proportion of humanity being like, this is the answer, you know, keto, Pritkins, no carbs, all those sorts of things. That's just the physical health as well. It's like the time for seeking the answer outside of ourselves is done. Done. The time now is to go within, get introduced, get to know these parts of who you are. And there is nothing to fear in there. There is only good, and there is only liberation, and there is only freedom, and there is only access to more of your own light, which is who you are. That is the energetically expanded version of who you are. It can be difficult, and it can be sometimes slightly uncomfortable, but there is still only good, because that is not bad. That is only good. And there are people, you don't have to do it alone. There are people that can be there and support you and guide you, and you know, all sorts of people in all sorts of ways. You know, part of what I do is I throw on, you know, some people walk themselves through the journey, and I'm in there, and I'm on the path. the side of the river, and they've got to jump into their own river, but I'm sitting there and I've got a rope tied to their waist, so they know they'll come back out. They know they're held, they know they're safe, they know that it will be okay, and they've just got to they've just got to plunge themselves into that river and go where it takes them, because that's part of it. But that's when you're a bit more along the path. That's not your first session or your first foray into this area. No, it's much more structured at the start because it's only what's in your best interest. To go straight into a core issue isn't in your best interest. It's not. It's too. That's when you have breakdowns and things like that. When it's fast tracked like that, which, you know, if that's written in the soul path, that's written in the soul path. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works with me at all. So. All right, I reckon that's a good snippet for today's What I Wish We Knew. It probably brings up more answers than actually answering the questions, but I think, you know, the idea is that this is a series, and I enjoy that for people that even come along later, that there's going to be like, it's not sequential in, you know, part 1, part 2, they build upon each other. It's just that there's, you know, there's a nice little series that people can binge on to get to just have these concepts land. You know, for some people it won't be the first time, but it helps to sort of go deeper every time you hear this sort of information, and then for others it will be the first time they hear this. And so it's nice that there's going to be like a set of videos along the same sort of topic-ish that people can start to indulge in. All right, questions welcome. Thanks for being here. Love it so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye.